You also have a clinical log journal. It's kept and it summarizes all your clinical experiences. It should be in a running format. Your name should be on it. If your name is not on it, I will not grade it. That means on the document and as the document is saved. Now you see these boxes over here on the right where it says site, activity, be specific. That's where I want you to put your patient, not their name. You need to tell me how old they are, whether they're female, what race they are, like 83-year-old Caucasian female. Brief observation is, what were they here for? Sore throat, checkup, diabetes update, and how much time you spent with them. Now, you will probably see more than 5 patients during the day, and you may have 2 blocks of time where you just follow the physician or the nurse practitioner watching them do assessments. Just write that in there. 2 hours of time just watching nurse practitioner do assessments. Then I spent half an hour helping them with the pelvic exam on a 14-year-old, or, observing that, okay? So you get right in there. You will not be doing pelvic exams, but you can observe through them. You could do a clinical breast exam. That would be great. I want you to listen to heart sounds. I want you to palpate livers. I want you to check for CVA tenderness. I want you to check pulses, range of motion. Get in on that, but do it with your preceptor, okay? And you're going to turn this in, actually in folder 5 at the end of the course. Your lab write-ups, there are 3 of these. They're 25 points each. Their grading rubric is here on the right. I put an example under the course documents. Lab write-ups are a combination of the lab template that is in the course documents. You will use that to guide you in where information should go. For instance, subjective means the patient's health history and everything they tell you. That includes their chief complaint, what their immunization status is, what their family history is. That's all subjective. Patient saying it, SS, subjective saying. Objective is your physical assessment. Heart sounds, what color their skin is, how they look when they walked in the room. That's all objective. That's a physical assessment. Your lab book, so let me give you an example. Say you're going to do a lab write-up on ears, okay? Under the health history, your lab manual will give you questions like how many past ear infections do they have? Are they a smoker? What was their family hearing history like? Have they had dizziness? Any of that. And then under the objective area, it will ask things like you will have to describe what their tympanic membrane looked like. Were they tender when you palpated their tragus? So that will go under objective, okay? So use a combination of the 2. Use your lab manual to give you all the stuff you need to do in that assessment. Use the lab template to tell you where to put that information, okay? And again, name has to be on all documents. And they need to be typed APA format. Thanks. Okay, BSN Reflection Journal. You know you're keeping these in all your classes, but let me tell you what's different about this class. We are not doing a weekly journal for this class this time. You have entirely too much work. I just want you to do one final journal. You will keep this journal for your final portfolio for the capstone course. You will keep the journal and you will keep your final H&P that you turn in. But don't do a weekly journal. You're going to do one final journal. The questions are in your syllabus. They will also be in folder 5, and you will just turn in one that final week, okay? Final assessment. It's really 3 sections. You're going to do a history on someone. That history should be on the same person you do your checkoff on. So if you don't do a checkoff in clinical, if you do it with me, you have to have completed a health history, which is on page 33 of your lab manual, on that person, because you're going to need to type that up. Okay? So you do the health history. You're going to do an assessment checkoff from head to toe. That's part 2. So you'll either do that with me if you want to, or you can do it with your preceptor. The checkoff document is in the clinical folder. And then you're going to write a final paper. You're going to write up everything you've done. So on your scheduled day, near the end of the course, you'll do your head-to-toe assessment checkoff. And like I said, you could do it with me or a preceptor. I'm not grading it individually. It's part of the final grade. However, it's worth 25 points. This says of the 100. No, it's 25 points on top of 100. Okay? If you complete the checkoff with your clinical preceptor, the preceptor must mark the form up. He's not going to give you a letter grade, he or she. They're just going to mark the form. Sign and date the form for verification of completeness, okay? And this form must be turned in to the instructor via email, fax, mail. I'm going to put an assignment posting. I'd really like it to go there in folder 5 separately, but you need to turn it in. I can't give you points for doing a checkoff if this is not turned in, okay? Again, it's not the preceptor's responsibility, it's yours to get it to me, okay? But like I said, you can come in and do your checkoff with me. I'm going to have some time for that. So if you'd rather come to the school and do your H&P checkoff with me, that'd be great. I'd love it. So you can come to me too. Okay, your final paper. First, you pick your patient, fellow student from the course. Please don't utilize a spouse or one of your children, nieces or nephews. I want this to be a person that you don't know a lot about. I want you to be discovering and writing, okay? Complete the full health history in your book, APA format. You type that up. Then you're going to do your head-to-toe exam, okay? And that's going to be the second section of your paper is what you found on your physical assessment, which is your objective, okay? Then the fourth, you're going to put an assessment area on the paper where you give 2 nursing diagnoses. You do not have to use specific nursing language. However, they can't be medical diagnoses. You can't say, number 1, my patient has congestive heart failure. That's not a nursing diagnosis. You need to tell me if the patient has a knowledge deficit in diabetes care or in safety around the home. Then you're going to give me 2 appropriate nursing interventions. Be specific. Say you pick safety around the home. You can't just say, I will give the patient handouts on safety around the home. No. Tell me what handouts you're going to give and what they're going to say. So I'm going to do education specifically on falls, and we're going to talk about what good lighting, handrails in the bathrooms, removing the throw rug. So that's specific. Be as specific as possible, okay? Then type all this together and turn it in, okay? And there's a grading rubric in your syllabus for this. But this slide shows kind of how this is going to go. The title of your paper will be History and Physical Exam of a, let's go with our 83-year-old Caucasian female. That will be your title. The first section is your health history. The second section is your complete physical exam, not the checkoff form itself. You're going to type this up as a Word document. I don't want to see that table in there with check marks, yes or no. That doesn't count. You need to describe what you're seeing. You know, the patient had normal active bowel sounds in all quads and it was non-tender. That kind of thing goes under the physical. Then the final section of your paper is your nursing diagnosis and interventions. And I will provide an example paper in the final course document area. Stroll around the course. There's you can go into the course information. There's great information there. Under the course documents, that's where your syllabus, calendar are, all the templates, that sort of thing. The assignment section actually has all your folders in the work. And the next slide shows a screen clipping of that. There will be 5 folders. You currently can't see all of them. You can only see the clinical folder and folder 1, but you'll be able to see all of them, I promise, very soon. And we're going to do some great things. We're going to talk about assessment tools and pain assessments and assessment websites. You're just going to learn so much in this class and have a good time. I want to talk briefly about one more thing, where you can find the discussion boards. If you go to the Communications tab, under Groups, you go to Discussion Board, and you'll be able to access your group discussion board, and that's where you're going to post everything except for your introduction to the class. That goes on the main discussion board. And then any questions or answers you have for me, if they're private, please feel free to email them to me. And I, in the past, have made the mistake of posting things I shouldn't, and I am apologizing up front about that. But if your question's good, it needs to go in the discussion board area, because everybody might have that question, and I really want to be able to quell anybody's fears and be available to everyone. So we are going to have so much fun in this class. I don't want you to think of it as a burden. It's going to be a blast. One more thing. This is the final slide, and I just want to talk about the course calendar. I've been looking through stuff, and I know how busy all of you guys are, and I want to give you power and control over your lives a little more than you probably feel like you have. So looking at the course syllabus, I would like to make a proposal, and I will make this on discussion board. If none of you want to do it, I certainly won't, but I would like to make a proposal that I give everyone the option of dropping 1 exam and 1 lab write-up at your own discretion. I'm not going to just cut them out. So we will decrease the course by 50 points. That will give you some control. So if you don't want to take the exam in folder 2 because your life is too crazy, but you can turn in the lab write-up, absolutely do that. So you can drop one of each. Now you can't drop 2 labs or 2 exams, but you could drop one of each. If you decide to do them all, I'm going to make an offer for extra credit for you guys, but that will give you some control. You may know that week 3 is going to be crazy and you're going to miss the exam and the lab write-up that week. That could hurt you in your final write-up, but only you can know that, what you need to do. So that will give you some power and control in your life, I hope. And I am very much looking forward to this class. I just want to reiterate that I am available to you at all times. I love seeing students. I love talking to students. I will be on the discussion board, and I will post some more lectures just like this. So if you guys have any questions, feel free, and I will see you on the web. Bye.